Hello everybody, this is Gregory with How I Lost Over 100 Pounds and I've kept it off for 30 plus years. But there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and maintenance. Today we're going to re-examine beverages and see if we're making some mistakes there that could be jeopardizing your weight loss and maintenance. Now before I begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also check out my website, which has hundreds of articles and recipes, my 2 books which you can find on Amazon, my movie podcast, The Cinema Rag, and lastly, if you appreciate my content, there is a link for PayPal. Now, I think there are people who realize that beverages are a pitfall. The large majority of beverages don't provide you any caloric benefits, any nutritional benefits. They might give you a lot of calories, but they're not going to give you a lot of nourishment. And the sooner you come to this realization, I think it's going to be better for your weight loss and weight maintenance. But the problem is a lot of us drink a lot of sodas or drink a lot of sweet teas growing up, and so you become really enamored with them or even hooked on them. And so when you know it's time to lose weight, it's hard. Right? Because you like your Fanta, you like your Dr. Pepper, you like whatever it is, your sweet tea, your Snapple. Like when I was in college, Snapple came out, it was really big. You might like these things. So you have this cognitive dissonance, you're torn like the angel and the devil on your shoulders. Like one part of you knows these don't provide any benefit for me, and the other side's like, yeah, but they taste good, da 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 da. So ideally, kind of like a Buddhist monk trying to reach the higher levels of enlightenment to get to nirvana, you kind of want to be on this path. And some people, if they're early on in the weight loss, are still indulging in these things, and other people who've been doing it for a long time barely ever touch these things. And it's not a question of judging those who are lower or anything like that, but eventually we do want to get to the point where we're eliminating a large percentage of the majority of beverages that are sold at a grocery store. So let's start with the obvious ones. I mean, the obvious ones are going to be sodas. Sodas are cookie cancer. If you drink a high amount of sodas throughout your life, I mean, even little things like kidney stones, you have a higher rate of getting kidney stones, just in general because of the phosphoric acid in there and just carbonation. But the big reason you want to avoid sodas is just simply because sodas are the classic example of no nutrition and a lot of calories. So when you look what's in a soda it's not even cane sugar unless you're buying the high-end sodas. It's high fructose corn syrup, which we have an episode here on why that's bad. And then phosphoric acid, caramel color, which is a food color, which is linked to bladder cancer and hyperactivity, and just a bunch of garbage. So you're just getting a lot of calories and your body's not benefiting from it at all. If anything, it's of course being perniciously affected by it. Now you might say, well, what about diet sodas? Well, diet sodas have acid, sulfur, potassium, and aspartame. These are artificial sweeteners that are linked to a bunch of problems in studies that they've done in animals, in particular aspartame with seizures, brain tumors, in autoimmune problems. And we should have a separate episode here. At my podcast, The Awakened Man, back in 2018, 2019, I did a bunch of episodes on the history of aspartame and so forth, so maybe you should go check that out if you want more information on it. The other problem with diet sodas is that they don't satisfy your sweet tooth because it's not real sugar. So it's like 50 times more sweet than cane sugar, but at the same time, it's not satisfying your sweet tooth. So you're more likely to indulge in it. And there's a lot of studies that show that the more diet sodas you drink, actually the more overweight you are, even though that seems counterintuitive. But wean off the sodas. Next to that would be sweet tea. Look, I love tea. I just finished drinking my green tea in the morning. I love tea, but I drink tea plain, partly because I'm fasting till 3 o'clock. But I do drink a lot of tea, either herbal teas or the colored teas for the little caffeine. I don't drink coffee. Talk about in that episode on 20 kitchen items that I use to maintain my weight. Go check out that playlist. But I don't drink coffee, I drink tea. Sweet tea, of course, is garbage. Most sweet teas are going to be just the lowest level tea, like the Lipton, which is doused with pesticides and so forth. But the main problem, of course, is all the sugar. So again, anything that's sugar-based, toss it out. And for the sweet teas, if it's easier, just slowly wean off. go half and half. And then eventually, like with dark chocolate, we talked about dark chocolate, eventually you'll get to such a high percentage of dark chocolate that when you eat a regular chocolate bar, you're like, this is way too sweet. And it's the same thing with tea. What else is out there that's problematic? Alcohol. Clearly, alcohol as a whole is, again, a lot of calories, even if you get the light beers, but a lot of calories, and there's no nutrition. There's no nutrition. And if you look at the mixed drinks, the White Russians, the pina coladas, again, tons of sugar, tons of food dye, so they don't benefit you. Alcohol is a class 1 carcinogen defined by the IARC. So again, no benefit. So these 3 things should be weaned off, and I would tell you completely. And for me, because I've been doing this a long time, I can't tell you the last time I had a soda. Even like on Thanksgiving, Christmas, I'll splurge and eat some of the better foods. And we talked about in the episode like biohacks you should do for holidays. But I don't touch sodas. I have no interest to touch sodas. Alcohol, I think I've had 2 glasses of wine, maybe a month. I don't drink beer. I think beer is disgusting. Mixed drinks, I don't drink these things. And with tea, I don't drink sweet tea because I drink teas up until I'm fasting. And then at that point, I just drink water. So what other beverages? So kombucha does have some benefits. We have an episode here on kombucha. It's certainly much more popular now than it was 5-6 years ago when I started my original podcast on holistic stuff. It has benefits. Just be careful if you're going to get it that you get one that has low sugar, because now a lot of the major beverage makers are creating their own brand of kombucha because they see that it's kind of popular with the hipsters and so forth. But just be careful because they're putting a lot of sugar in those things to make you like them more, and then of course you'll buy their product. It's better just to make your own kombucha. Kombucha does of course have benefits, all the probiotic stuff that you're getting from it. But to be honest, you can get probiotic benefits from non-kombucha items like Greek yogurt or kimchi or sauerkraut. I mean, there's other options out there that have less sugar. Smoothies. We have an episode here. Make your own smoothies. Make sure, don't buy the naked smoothies or Jamba Juice. It's just tons of sugar. Of course, in these, like with kombucha is made from tea, if you don't know. With smoothies, you are getting more nutrition than, let's say, sodas and alcohol, obviously. But again, like on the episode we have on acai bowls, you got to look at how it's made and what's in there. And with a large majority of smoothies that you buy, it's all sugar. Look at the back of a naked smoothie. Just look how much sugar is in that. So it's better to make your own smoothies. And I would tell you that unless a smoothie is like a meal replacement to break your fast, I would not make a smoothie as like a compendium to your meal because there's going to be a lot of calories in that smoothie. But if you're going to make a smoothie, make sure it's full of fat stuff like full fat Greek yogurt, and put some milk, whether it be dairy or non-dairy milk, and avocado and chia seeds. You'll fill it up with high fat, high protein stuff in addition to your blueberries and bananas and so forth. And we have videos here on how to make a good smoothie. Milk. I drink milk here and there. I do drink cow's milk. There was definitely a period in my life where I was drinking coconut milk and almond milk, and I would make my smoothies with that. It comes and goes. I'm not a lactose intolerant person as a whole, so I can handle milk. And yes, I know the whole idea of like, why are we the only species that drinks the milk of not just another species, but why are we drinking it when we're adult? Like if you look at mammals, cows and so forth, they only drink milk to get fat, to grow up. And once they grow up, they're not drinking. You don't see a bull drinking a cow's milk, right? So, but either way, I would tell you, if you're going to drink milk, whole fat, because it fills you up and it just tastes better. But again, drink it sparingly. But there's definitely nutrition in there. There's sugar, there's lactose, but there's definitely some nutrition in there. And then what other drinks are there? I mean, look, you got V8. It's a lot of salt. I mean, if you like V8, I particularly don't like V8. I just don't like the taste of it, and I think it does have a lot of salt. But again, you can drink that sparingly. And so, look, I would tell you, my life is pretty much just drinking teas, unflavored, and water, and occasionally milk. And I don't feel like I'm depriving myself of anything. And I don't miss the sodas. I was never on alcohol in the first place, but I understand that some of you, though, might be coming from a background of indulging in a lot of these things. And so you're having a large problem weaning yourself off of this. And when it comes to sugar, we might have a future episode on this, like the 22-day fast break. Like if you can stop eating sugar for 22 days, you essentially become free of that addiction or that hankering, so to speak, as we say here in the South. So maybe try that with the sugary drinks if you're really hooked on them. I would tell you can do a slow wean. Like go from sodas, if you're drinking a lot of sodas, to a sweet tea, and then go from sweet tea to half sweet tea, then go from half sweet tea to maybe kombucha, if you can afford kombucha, and then, which is tea, like black tea with sugar added, and then go from there, and then maybe try to get to a point where you're just not drinking any calories and you're getting all your nutrition from food, because ultimately too, eating food fills us up. Drinking our calories doesn't fill us up, and this is why we can overindulge in them. So these are some suggestions. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.